Welcome to the channel. My name is Dr. Kaushik Ram, and on this channel I take you on adventures with mind and body. And today I have the great pleasure of being here with Mark Edward Greenham, and today I'm doing the 10% challenge. This is dropping down to 10% body fat in 30 days. So I'm pretty pumped by this. I've also got a nutritionist on board who's given me my current body fat percentage, which is 15.1%. And I'm planning on dropping down to 10% within 30 days. So this is the challenge, and I have an absolute champion of a man here with me today, Mark Edward Greenham. Welcome, Mark, to this channel, and I'm so excited to have you on this channel because from the outside, it just feels like you've covered so much in your life, and there's so many people who are inspired by you. And to kick this one off, I'd like to ask one question to begin with, which is, when you were 8 years old, what was the thing that you wanted to do when you grew up?
It's a bit of a tough one, man. Like, I had a very, I was very good at creating things with my hands. So, if you go back to when I was 6 years old, I really wanted a pocket knife. I had this fascination with pocket knives, and my old man's like, "Not till you're 12. Like, you can't give a 6-year-old a pocket knife." And I really wanted one, and I was like, "How do I get a pocket knife?" And my dad went to work. And it was school holidays, and the babysitter or the child care person was over. And all day I was like, I was 6 years old, and I was like, I'm gonna make myself a pocket knife. And I got my dad's shed, got a little hand saw, and I cut out a blade out of little bit of MDF, 2 ovals, made a back plate, hammered a nail in, sanded everything down, painted it. And to this day, like, I remember, like, I was so sick of the pocket knife by the time my dad came home, because I spent 12 hours making it. And then my dad came home, and I was like, I got a pocket knife. And he's like, "Where'd you get that from?" And I was like, "I made it." And he's like, "No, you didn't. Who gave it to you?" And I was like, "No, I made it." And now, still to this day, like, my old man's like, he made this when he was 6 years old. And from that point on, I think everyone around me knew that I had a very, like, I was gifted with my hands. I was able to make things. And I think when I was 8 years old, it was like, I was thinking I'd be a carpenter. I know my parents asked me that question when I was like 4 years old. And when I was 4 years old, I had this like fascination with trucks. And I used to see this, the garbage disposal truck like drive past, and I'd be like, I'm going to be a garbo, because I just love the truck. But thank God I'm not a garbo. but yeah, so I think the prospect was to be a carpenter when I was 8. To answer your question, man. Yeah.
That is fascinating, man. Like, the mind of a child, huh? Like, you unfiltered, there's no like, so preconceptions.
Yeah. It's all in the now. It's like, it's cool, man. And like, I feel like we need to be more like this in like everyone else's current state. And it's very hard to be in the now these days, which is why, I started meditating a few years back, and doing yoga and stuff. All that sort of stuff helps, but like, a lot of people don't realize how unconscious they are. And I mean, like, I'm no exception. Like, a lot of the time I get like drowned with like things to do, and like, you have to wake yourself up sometimes and realize that that you're living in your head.
So one of the things that I find really interesting, especially in your upbringing, was that you went through a stage of cancer. Yeah. And that, from what I gather, has been quite a defining moment in your life.
Yeah.
Can you speak to us a little bit more about that?
So, look, when I was 7 years old, I got diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. I went into chemotherapy and radiation treatment. It was really hard on my family. I remember my mum just like crying, and then like, my dad's like, you'll be all right, mate. Be a tough man. It was a bit like growing up. My old man was like tough man, and my mum was like sort of the opposite. But yeah, I mean, like, when you're 7 years old, you don't really realize what's going on. You don't really realize the severity of what's going on. And I remember getting presents and gifts, and it wasn't even my birthday or Christmas, and I was like, this is bloody awesome. Like, I never get presents and gifts, you know?
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you know, like I did chemotherapy for, it was 7 months, and I lost my hair. I was extremely ill in PMH, Princess Margaret Hospital in Perth. Perth's where I'm born and raised. You know, that was a bit of a reality check when you're 7 years old, you know, like you're actually so ill and you can't eat any food. Like chemotherapy kills all your cells, so you stop growing. That's why your hair falls out and your fingernails stop growing. And yeah, I remember like having friends in this, and look, I remember this like yesterday, because it was such an uncomfortable thing that, like, even though it was when I was 7, I can bring myself back there now, and like really, I can smell the water, I can smell all the, you know, like the disinfectant that they put on you before they give you needles and things. Like, I can just bring myself back there. And I remember making a lot of friends with other kids that had cancer, and then, you know, a few days later they're not there anymore, and like quite a few of them would have died. And like, obviously being that age, you know, nurses would be like, oh, he's gone home. But like, it's only later in life that you realize, like, damn, like people were dying, you know? But yeah, man, like, look, my struggle and battle with cancer, like it's almost, I leverage off that with everything that I sort of do in my life. You know, like not many people get a second chance at life, and I basically got a second chance at life. So I like to really live life to its fullest potential. I don't like to miss any opportunities. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to put in all my effort to do it well, do it right, do it the best I can. And yeah, like too many people don't put their heart and soul into things that they do. And I feel like life's all about putting your heart and soul into what you're passionate about.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that seems to have developed quite a strong work ethic. And is that something that you've used when you've won this, you know, bodybuilding championships like the ICN, or have you used a different sort of mindset to get there?
Yeah, look, at the core of everything that I do is like, like I would say that is the mindset that I use to do everything in my life. And with ICN, like, I mean, like transforming is similar to what we've done now. It's like transforming, like in a certain amount of time, like you can be like this good or you can be that good. And that's, it's all about how much effort that you put into what you're doing and how much value you get out of what you're doing. You know, like you could go to the gym and you could push, or you could like push that little bit harder. You know what I mean? You could just, like the way that I work out and the way that I work, like even with my businesses, is it's a good and a bad thing. I max myself out, man. Like I like get everything I can get out of it. You know, if I'm gonna work, I'm gonna work longer hours. I'm gonna, like, you know, it's a good and a bad thing, because it does sort of pull you away from consciousness sometimes as well. A lot of the time, actually. And I do sort of struggle with, before I started meditating and doing yoga, which I actually haven't been doing much of lately because I've been a bit drowned with work, and obviously COVID was a big curveball for my businesses. So before COVID, everything was good. Post COVID, it's been pretty hard sort of making the money I made before to pay my mortgage and all these sorts of things, and sort of social media has taken a bit of a back burner because of it, and I'm sort of focusing on the things that are making the money. And I guess there's a little, like, there's more demanded of me now than there was post-COVID, because making money was a bit easier. So now it's sort of just like go. And I'm going to keep going as hard as I can until I find a bit more financial freedom, like the similar financial freedom I had before COVID.
Just talking about the mindset, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you've made it, you've said it quite beautifully. Like, sure, like when you do go hard, there are some sacrifices that come along with it.
Yeah.
And,
100%.
you know, like, especially like when you look on social, you you know, you have a beautiful partner as well, and people talk about, wow, like those are relationship goals, you know, you're like the dream couple and all of this. But both of you, like the international, was it I Compete Natural?
ICN.
ICN.
Yeah.
So that competition does have, you know, like people think of that going, wow, like perfect bodies and all of that. But you guys have worked on this together for some time, and you know, like, can you speak about what it's like to compete with a partner as well?
It's really good, man. It's really good competing with a partner if they're on the same page. Like you hear about people that do these bodybuilding comps and their partner isn't doing it. They're eating Max Brenner while their other partner's eating chicken breasts and steamed cabbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of dedication behind it, and to do it with someone is fantastic as long as you're on the same page. Look, I mean, we did very well at these comps, but you know, that moment wasn't the previous, 3-4 months of training. That was the previous 10 years of training. Like I started training when I was 17. Oksana started training around the same age as well. So we've been developing our bodies since we've been teenagers, you know? And so like to get to that point, it takes a lot more. I mean, like some people can do it, but it's not, it's what you're dedicated to as you're growing up is what's gonna give you that body that will ultimately compete on ICN. A lot of people do, they'll spend 2 or 3 years transforming their body, but it is a lot easier if you start at a young age.
Yeah. Wow. And tell me a little bit about that Netflix show that you've been on.
Yeah. So I did Ultimate Beastmaster. It's basically the worldwide Netflix version of Ninja Warrior. So they have, I think it was 15 countries, 4 people per country. I was obviously on the Australia team. Yeah, man, that was like a really, really cool experience that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Yeah, I mean, look, going onto that show, like there was a lot of really good athletes, and the mindset of these athletes were, I gotta win, I'm gonna smash everyone, I'm the best. And, when I got on that show, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna enjoy the experience, because a lot of people forget to enjoy the experience when they get these opportunities. And, I'm a decent athlete, but there would have been way better athletes than me there were better athletes than me on this show, especially the rock climbers. They've got grip strength up to like 10 minutes. Mine's about 3.5. But yeah, and mate, like mindset will set you apart on TV shows like that, because like you might be the best athlete in the world, but if you second guess yourself, or if you're not feeling confident, or if you're, if you want to win it too much, you're not going to do that well. And I went on there with the mindset of just enjoying the experience. If I come off the first, second obstacle, man, I'm just going to be grateful. I'm going to have that gratitude that I even had the opportunity to do this show. And I believe that mindset is what set me apart from a lot of people on the show. I did well. I got 5th place, won $10,000, and that would have been out of, I forget how many people, it was just under 100 people. So I did do really well. But I really feel like gratitude is the reason why I did well. Know, and I feel like gratitude definitely sets people apart from the rest.
Yeah. No, this is really, really powerful, because when I did approach you about this challenge, it was at a very critical point in my life. I had just come to the end of my contract with the University of Sydney, so I'd finished a full-time stable job which had structure. And then when I started the challenge with you, which was dropping down to 10% body fat, my life basically, I had the freedom to structure my life around the program that you had set. And so this was really, really incredible. And so the mindset as well was governed by the amount of training that I'll do each day, how much, with the nutrition that I'd be working on. So having all of that in place right from the onset is probably a big part of me being able to achieve the results. If I were to do this while I was working full time and not pay attention to my nutrition, I think it'll be a very different ball game, and I don't think I would have got the results that I've had now if it weren't for such a strong dedication to the practice.
Of course, man.
Yeah,
it's all based around structure. I mean, if you want to get somewhere, the only real way to get there is good structure. You know, so you go to the gym every day. You have your routines. You know. You want the progressive overload on every time you work out. You want to get that extra rep, or you want to have an extra kilo on, just so it's that progressive overload, which is sending those neurological signals to your body to grow. Because if you keep on overloading it, it's got no choice but to grow. And it's such a simple, when you think about it, it's the most simple thing ever. But a lot of people don't get that. They go to the gym and they just push hard every day. They don't count everything. They go eat Maccas. They starve themselves one day. But you really need to count your calories and make sure you've got a sufficient amount of calories to build muscle, and you need the progressive overload and that structure. So crucial.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like now, I mean, prior to doing this, I'd never been in a gym before.
That's crazy, man.
You know, like I only walked into Fitness First once in my life. And I walked right back out. I was
I noticed, man.
So
the first time I went there, I was just like, shit, man.
Yeah, never been to a gym in my life, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's cool though.
And I'll walk you through, because like this whole journey for me, going to the gym for the first time.
Yeah.
I remember walking in, and the first thing that caught my attention was big people.
There's a lot of ego
you know,
there, man, at
there's
the gym.
also, you know, women with big lips, and you know, the morphology is so different. I was like, is this the culture that I'm subscribing to? But then doing it for the first month, I started to enjoy it. And I was like, wow, every day I'm walking in, I'm breaking a new personal best.
Yeah.
And there was this tracking app that you gave me that, you know, I started using, and I was like, wow, like, that progressive overload is something that, you know, is keeping me on track, so that every day I walk into the gym, I know what my weight currently is. I know how much nutrition I'm getting every day to supplement, you know, how much I have to burn off. And also keeping track of, like, you know, I have this Aura ring, which tells me, you know, tells me like all the metrics sort of my heart rate variability, my recovery index, all these things that sort of give me a guidance every single day on how I'm doing. So without all that tracking, I would have gone back to Andrew, who's our nutritionist, and I wouldn't have had, you know, ways to fine tune what was going on. So having all these metrics and tracking it every single day meant that every time I walked in, the results showed. And that, like, every month that I've gone back to Andrew, I was like, wow, like I've lost a certain amount of body fat. So I went from 15.1% body fat when I started to 12.9% in the first month.
Great.
And then from 12.9, I dropped to 11.4 in my second month. And this is the third month. I've got 3 more weeks to go.
Yeah, nice,
so
man.
We'll see if we break that 10%. You know, on the belly, it's like
it's always the last place to go, especially with people like when you're. I think it's what's the body type? It's called
ectomorph.
Ectomorph. Yeah, it's the only place ectomorphs put on weight. Or it's the first place they put on weight, and the last place they lose it too.
Yeah. So results have been incredibly encouraging. So I do value the fact that you know, when we started, you showed me exactly how to track.
Yeah.
And when I went to Andrew, he also showed me exactly what to eat. And to be honest, I've been eating the same food for the last 3 months, and it's you know, it's got to the point where I'm like, you know, craving. You know,
it's not good to always stay on the same food. You should give your body some variety. Look, I have my cheat days, man. I eat strict for 6 days a week, and then I'll have a cheat day, because you need to, man. That's how people. You see a lot of people that, like, they're eating so clean and they're going to the gym and then they just relapse and then they're just eating pizza in front of the TV. It shouldn't be like that. You should be able to have your cheat day and you should be able to indulge. You should be able to satisfy yourself, and like as long as you're training and you're eating right, then that cheat day feels good. It feels like you deserve it, which is why more people shouldn't go cold turkey on everything bad. You should eat healthy for the majority of your time, count calories, and then have your cheat day. And when you have it, enjoy it because you deserve it.
In fact, I went full cold turkey on this one. But I did go camping for 4 days out, in Barrington Tops. And there I could not control my, what I ate. So I have to admit, one day I did, stop at a grocer and
you went nuts.
I had fish and chips, bro. So,
bro. Fish and chips, man? Are you serious?
I was starving, bro.
You probably needed the calories if you're that hungry, man. Your body's telling you you're like hungry. You're probably underweight or something.
So I devoured that like no fish and chips.
Did you feel guilty afterwards?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
I did. Because I was so committed to this challenge, but that's probably the only time I've broken the rule.
That's good. That's good.
So for 4 days, I had very little control over what I ate, and the fish and chips was the worst thing that I did in my entire life in that moment. Well, man, look, the food you're on, you can eat different food. It's just harder to count your calories, and it's all based on calorie intake. But also macronutrients as well is very important. So the quality of the food you're putting in, because you can have that Mars bar or you can have a bowl of rice. You're going to get a lot of energy out of that bowl of rice. Mars bar's the same amount of calories. Essentially, you're not going to put on weight or lose weight. It's just the same amount of calories, but you're going to get a lot more energy out of the rice. The Mars bar is going to give you a sugar high. It's got the fats in it. You're going to have heaps of energy for like, an hour. Then you're going to be like hungry and tired. But if you have the rice, you're going to have heaps of energy. You're going to be full. Your energy's going to last you, 4 hours instead of 1 hour from the Mars bar, And to be honest, I didn't understand like macros until this point. So I went from a fat-rich diet. I was only having 2 meals a day, and I was never hungry. And I did that for 3 years. And from that diet, I went to eating 5 to 6 meals a day on a carb-rich diet. So, and when I was eating 2 meals a day, I was still gaining weight. And when I was eating 5 to 6 meals a day, I was losing weight. So that blew my mind.
So there's a lot of calories in fatty foods. And look, ketosis works. It's not necessarily healthy. It's not something you can do all the time, but it does work for a lot of people. It just takes a very long time to get yourself into ketosis, to convert your body to ketosis. You go through it's a couple of months of having no energy, and it's just torture, and it's everyone to their own. My personal opinion of the best way to eat is just a good variety of good foods, whole foods, lots of carbs. I like to eat low fat, high carb. And that way, I can eat, I can be full, I can have the energy, and I can still lean up and build muscle, rather than doing ketosis. It's all about what the hype is. Ketosis is a big hype. Veganism's a big hype. They're all good in a way, but they're all bad in a way. You know what I mean? It's all about balance.
So with my goals for this episode, it was more to get down to 10% body fat, but put on weight, more lean mass, which I've sort of done because my weight has remained stable, plus or minus 100 grams, and I've lost body fat. Which is good.
You're exchanging your fat for muscle, virtually.
But I don't think I've gained, I don't think I've bulked
This
up.
takes time, man. And to bulk, you really need to be in like a calorie surplus. So you need to be eating lots of calories. You need to have that fat around your body. I've always bulked without calorie surplus. You can do it. It just takes a lot longer. A lot longer. That's why all the bodybuilders, they bulk, they put on muscle. They lean up. They've got muscle. They're more muscle. They're lean. But I mean, like that's the easy way to build muscle. But hey, like easy come, easy go. So if you build muscle, it's going to take you, like 3 times as long to build muscle, not on a calorie surplus. But that muscle's going to stay around for a lot longer as well. It's going to like that muscle ingrained into your genetics because your body has fought to build that muscle. Whereas if it's, like I said, easy come, easy go, it doesn't last as long.
Yeah. No, definitely. So this has been a huge eye-opener in terms of what is required to get that physique that, in my mind, I never went for it because in my mind I thought I didn't deserve it. I thought like people who look good were born like that genetically, and I didn't have
totally
that.
not,
It just really changed my perception on the whole, industry of what people are going out there to do and how enjoyable it is. Because from the outside, I was like, wow, that looks boring. I can't, I can't do that. So that's been really interesting, man. Just to let the audience know, like, what are your future prospects now? Like you've done so much, like you've been on ICN. Are you looking to do more competitions? You've also been on the Ninja Warrior circuit. Like what's next for Mark Edwards?
Mate, look, it's Mark Edward, by the way. Mark Edward G.
Yeah.
No, Mark Edward Greenham's my full name, guys. Everyone gets it mixed up, but it's Mark Edward Greenham. So future prospects, man. I mean, look, I don't like setting, because you live in the future, man. You get anxious. I'm already anxious enough with all the things that I do. And I like just to like, my future prospect, man, my goals is to big pause. What is it? Gabbo. I'm gonna be the Gabbo. No, it's just to like have the time to enjoy life, have the time to be more conscious. I feel like COVID did sort of strap me of that a bit. I need to build, I need the lucrativity. Is that a word? Lucrativity?
We've made
lucrative. Yeah, I want to have the time to radiate good energy, enjoy life, and make the most out of every opportunity that comes my way. Look, life is such a gift, and every opportunity can be a good opportunity. It just depends on the way that you look at that opportunity. Goals. I want to pay my mortgage off. These are simple goals, but they're very big to me. I want to pay my mortgage off. I want my label that was going on before COVID. I want that to go better. I want the borders to open up. I want to be able to go to the US, do business with the US, which is what I was doing before. And I want time to enjoy life, because life's short, man. And a lot of people forget how short life is, and a lot of people forget to enjoy life, which is really, it's so sad. Like a lot of people will just spend their whole life living in front of a screen or a TV, and you don't want to look back at life and be like, what the hell did I do with my life? You want to look back and be like, all right, I had that opportunity. I gave it my best effort. It didn't work out, but you're not going to die thinking like, why the hell didn't I try that? No regrets.
Incredible.
That's
Incredible.
my jam, dude. Yeah.
Wow. Such an inspiration, Mark.
Thanks, man.
So,
yeah.
I can't thank you enough for, putting me in this direction and opening my eyes up to what's possible. So I'm ever so grateful and ever so thankful. Bro, it's been a journey. Amazing.
So, Kaushik, thanks for coming in today. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what the plan is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in here to do a 10% body fat challenge. I don't know how realistic that is. As I say, like I'm out of my own depths here in terms of understanding how body composition works. I just want to get an idea of where I'm at now.
So most important thing is your folds. We're going to see where you're at today, and then we want to see that. We'll set a target, a good, realistic, aggressive target for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And our goal is to just hit that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you yet.
Yeah.
I haven't taken measurements. So once I get measurements, I'll be able to sort of pick where we can be in 4 weeks. What's realistic. So first things first, I'm just going to mark the sights. Facing this way, whole body, right across your chest. You ever done skin folds before?
No, never.
Facing this way, to your left. Good.
Yeah.
Arm down. And then arm up like this. Good, lovely. Just flex for me. Flex. Alright, good. We're sub 20s. That's good. But yes, let me go through all your results now. So when I pinch you on skin folds, I cross-reference 2 formulas, the UHAS and the Jackson Pollock. All right, so I find the average of those 2, and then I add 3% because they don't track essential body fat.
Yeah.
So this would kind of be closer to what you get on a DEXA. I ticked you in at 15.1%. So when I'm pinching you, for example, your lower back is where you hold most of your body fat. So when I pinch you at 26.7, that means the site is that thick.
I see.
So generally over time, we want that site to reduce. So what I'll do is I'll put together your nutrition, meal plan and so forth to sort of work towards that goal. I am going to have to think about what I want to do in terms of your calories and your macros. I do feel like you respond better to a low fat, high carb split, and I probably won't put you on too much of a drastic deficit to begin with.
Yeah.
Because I just want to see how your body responds to a bit more food. A large part of that's going to be carbohydrates, how much and when. Yeah. But fat intake will be low.
Yeah.
You mentioned you're on a high fat intake in the evenings, so
yeah.
Fat intake right now, we're going to keep that to a bare minimum.
Yeah.
Keep carbs up for performance. Protein is going to be high to maintain lean body mass muscle.
Yeah.
So we've set those metrics. So just remember, we want to go from 117 millimeters down to 75.
Yeah.
So dropping about 40 millimeters. Body fat percentage, we want to try to drop around 5%, get you down to 10%. Weight most likely will kind of stay the same, if not come slightly down. Maybe by around 1 to 2 kilos. Waist to hip ratio, we want to get down to 0.8, maybe even less. Basically that means your waist relative to your hips is going to be smaller, which means less fat around the midsection.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling quite like, well,
overwhelmed?
Like this. Yeah, overwhelmed is the word.
Yeah, it's pretty overwhelming. So yeah, that's where you're at, my friend. So our first goal, 4 weeks, is to get you down to 75.
We're just starting off with the most standard gym exercise you can do, which is bench press. Too heavy?
So I'm pretty sure I'll pinch you today, your folds will be down. But as you can see, like since I last saw you, 300 grams, 650, you've dropped nearly 1.3 kilos. I always tell my clients, if you're not building muscle, you should be losing fat. Either one or the other.
Yeah.
So it's when you lose muscle and you put on body fat, that's fucked. That's what we don't want. I doubt that's happening. If your strength training's been consistent, and your strength training is good quality strength training, and your protein intake is adequate, then you should be just losing body fat.
I see.
Ideally. Theoretically.
Alright, bro, this is Judgment Day.
Yes, time to pinch. Time to pinch. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's in terms of body fat percentage, you were
Yeah.
15.1%, and according to my formulas, you're at 12.9%.
I see.
So you've dropped around 2.2% body fat.
Month 2, see how this goes. So at the first month I dropped down from 15.1 to 12.9 percent body fat, and so now a month after we'll see how much we've dropped by.
Let's check it out.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, congratulations on single-digit folds.
Yeah, let's see if we crack the 10% mark this time.
Not yet. Not yet. Actually, close enough. 11.4. But your umbilical is in the single digits now. Yeah, so
What's the umbilical?
the abdominal fold
Oh yeah.
right here, as well as the suprailiac. So just here, that's at 8 mils.
Yeah.
To put that into perspective, you started at 15.2 and 16.4 for umbilical.
Wow.
So you really halved those folds.
Uh-huh.
I would say the goal would be for you to halve them. So we want to get that down to maybe 7.5 and this to maybe like a 6.5.
I see.
That would probably be 10%.
Alright bro, we here.
We're here, we're gonna do some rope. Gonna freaking, it's one of my favorite exercises this. I would choose this exercise over any other exercise.
You're the best example of the worst progress on the planet.
Alrighty, let's measure you up. Weight's going up, folds come slightly down, that's a good result. In terms of your body fat percentage though, like with folds, I wouldn't be, yeah, you haven't dropped 1.5% body fat, that's for sure. There's only a 0.1% reduction there. Yeah.
Okay.
So back in February, you know, your folds were up near 100. See? 117 and 110.
Yeah.
Whereas now your folds are at 72, but you're weighing the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if your weight stayed the same, but then your folds have come down, then generally means you put on lean body mass. I feel like right now you're at a point where your body is kind of comfortable. Like you could almost call that like a body fat set point. So now you'd really have to decide if you wanted to lose more body fat, you'd have to go into a very specific deficit. But I feel like you could kind of stay here. If you're sensible, you kind of stay here quite happily and put on muscle for quite a while.
Mark, it's been such an incredible experience. 3 months just spending on working out, getting my physique sorted, and learning a lot about what it takes to get into peak shape, you know? It's been quite an eye-opener for me, and I just want to thank you for guiding me on this journey, you know? I know you've been like flat out busy and you know, and all the times that we spoke, you've just given those little hints to me which had enormous, you know, benefit in my training. So I really just want to thank you for that.
My absolute pleasure, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, it's been a good 3 months. It'll be a good rest of your life as well, mate. You've got, you know, I'm sure the next 3 months after this 3 months, you're going to develop even more as long as you keep up your routine. Like in another 3 months, you'll be down to like possibly 8% body fat, and then you can just work on maintaining your body fat percentage and build muscle at a slower rate and stay shredded, stay strong, you know, and get all the benefits of being healthy, you know?
Yeah.
You already are healthy though, let's be honest.
Yeah,
so like
like,
you know, we're healthy before.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So this was just, you know, like another layer to that, you know, health and fitness culture.
Correct.
That, we already so much a part of. And people out there, if they want to look you up, follow you on social, how did they find you?
So Instagram is Mark_Edward_G. YouTube, look up Mark Edward G. There's a bunch of workouts on YouTube as well that you can join in with. They go for 10 minutes. It's like a HIIT calisthenics session. I've got about 5 of those up, and I'm doing more. The main thing is I've got TikTok, but who gives a shit about TikTok? Just stick with Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, amazing, Mark. Thank you so much,
man.
bro.
Thank you,
been
bro.
an incredible experience.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure.
Amazing.